Hey, it's Jake Lewis. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe.
You're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA-FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Virginia for round 3 of 10 for 2022 from VIRginia International Raceway in Alton. Hello everyone, welcome to the broadcast booth and welcome to SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, yesterday's race was a red flag affair. Kayla Yakov got hurt and she was out of it, as well as Cody Wyman, but it was Max Van who stood on top of the box.
Yeah, he showed a lot of confidence, starting from pole position, goes out, gets the start that he needed to get. There was a group of 7 or 8 riders at the front of this race, which we're normally used to seeing. However, he just refused to be denied yesterday, Greg. I mean, he led from the start. He got shuffled back a little bit, always found his way back to the front, and I thought it showed a lot of confidence on the last lap for him to be leading coming out of that last corner. Nobody was able to draft him, and he goes ahead and takes his second win of the season.
So for Max Van, it was braking that really did the job for him. Taking a look inside the numbers here, it's been 3 starts so far this season. That means 75 points available. And for Max Van, Jason, he has earned 70 so far. Incredible.
Yeah, and I think you said it right. It is incredible. But you've heard him talk about what he did during the offseason. He worked on himself physically. He worked on himself mentally. And it's really shown so far with the results this year. And he's going to be a problem again for these guys today.
And the race start will be coming up soon. But right now, let's get it back to our MotoAmerica Live Plus team, Robbie Floyd and Roger Hayden.
Thanks a lot, Greg. And the one thing that's amazing about Max Van and that point advantage he has is 34 points, Roger. We looked at each other, and 34 points is like almost a full race and a half. That's incredible after only 3 races.
That's a huge lead, and it also kind of takes the pressure off. He he can keep going for wins, because if he does make a mistake, he's still going to have over a race lead, so he can just keep going for it.
Mistakes can happen in many forms. This morning, they only had a 15-minute warm-up. I mean, there's no qualifying, no nothing, and sometimes you get in those situations you can't get out of, and that was the case with Max Van this morning. Again, this is the guy who's won 2 out of the 3 races. Let's take a look back at that 15-minute warm-up for our points leader in the juniors. He had to park that bike up against the side, and we see what happens.
Yeah, you could tell he must have went down with another rider there, and luckily he was up and okay. And the bike doesn't look too bad from that angle, so you can see some parts of the bike right there by the corner worker. So they had a little bit of work to do, but he's got a really good team behind him. He's able to ride it back to the pits. So, they get that thing fixed up in no time, and he's going to be tough to beat today.
For whatever reason, Joe Maranello's Kawasaki wasn't going as fast as he thought it was. He got into the back of him. Jason Wygant, that's not how he wanted to start his day, especially with that 34-point lead.
No, but it was pretty interesting. About an hour ago, we went over to talk to Max and his dad, and Dad said he's got a mind like a steel trap. He's not going to let that bring his confidence down. And then Max said, I'm going to lead every lap of this race. So they're making sure that whatever went wrong this morning, they got the bike fixed, but more importantly, it's not taking any of the confidence away, because he has been fast all weekend. He's been really confident, and I really like his attitude, his approach to racing. He's gotten more aggressive this year than we saw him last year. Last year, I think he was a little patient, at times maybe a little too patient in hindsight. This year, he's been aggressive, but he's also kept his nose clean.
Well, I think toward the end of the year, he started getting, closer to the front, even though he made a couple mistakes. But when you get close to the, those guys in front of you, you go to school, you start to learn a lot. And I think he learned a lot toward the end of the year last year. And I think he talked about yesterday how he really looked at himself this offseason and where he needed to improve. And he came out swinging this year ever since, the first race. He's been super, super fast and consistent. And yesterday, he pretty much led flag to flag. I mean, there was guys all over him, would pass him here or there, but for the most part, he set the pace.
Come out swinging, no doubt. There was a lot of swinging going on yesterday and changing of positions. Let's take a look back at the SportbikeTrackGear.com junior highlights from yesterday. Again, it wasn't 1, 2, or 3. There was 5, 6, 7, 8 riders with a chance to win this race towards the end. Yeah, perfect. Max Van, his teammate Joe Lamandry up there near the front. Avery Dreher as well. You see Gus Rodeo in the mix. Aiden Tao on the 55. Again, look at this gaggle of riders. This is early on, but it was the same way at the end.
Yeah, I mean, even Yandel Medina was in there. You can see him going in turn 14, changing positions every time. Everybody's trying to position themselves where they want to be when they're headed to the last lap.
It's really big getting that draft down the front straightaway and being in that right spot. It's kind of like watching a restrictor plate race, right? In the Talladega or Daytona. It's not always good to be out in front coming out of that last turn.
For Max being in front, once you're committed to that, the last lap, you just got to put your head down and try to get a gap. If that's what your strategy is, you got to try to get a far enough gap where those guys can't draft you before the finish line.
And there was Gus Rodeo talking right now with, is that Cody Wyman, as they get ready to hit the track. And Rodeo not able to get that draft that he was looking for. Cody Wyman not able to get that chance, Jason Wygant, to draft to the finish line.
Right, Robbie, and that's what's going to be interesting. So Wyman ended up getting caught with a crash in a different class. So he's had an up and down weekend. I think the real question is who learned lessons from yesterday with that draft and who can apply them here. That's what's going to be really fun to watch. Wyman has had speed, but he didn't have his opportunity to show it in the latter laps. We know that Lemandry and Max Van have been working together, so I think they were already putting draft strategies together from as soon as they rolled down to the racetrack on Friday. We'll see if Wyman can learn on the fly and give them a run and pull off a win here.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Cody Wyman over his shoulder in the two classes he's referring to is SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors, as well as the Twins Cup race. He said he had a lot of fun in that Twins Cup race. It's a new class for him. But again, Cody, I don't know, he wasn't at fault here. This is a case where Kayla Yakov was trying to go to the inside. She had a take slapper coming on or coming out of the straightaway. Had no brakes coming into this right-hand turn.
You can just see it way up the inside and gets right. Look how much speed she's had. No front brakes. Went into the air fence. For Cody, that's just an innocent bystander. And that's really, when you crash on your own, make a mistake, you don't feel good, but it's really disappointing when somebody else makes a mistake. But that's racing, and those things can happen to anybody.
And Cody Wyman on the outside had nowhere to go. You saw he's actually one that went down. Kayla was shooting straight across the track and into that air fence. Jason Wygant, that did not look good yesterday.
No, but Kayla went out of her way to actually praise Cody himself. Now, he had every reason to be upset over that because he got taken down to something that was not his fault, but he actually helped her get the air fence off so she could free herself from that. So, huge shout out to the sportsmanship for Cody Wyman. As for her, as you guys said, yes, she did not have front brakes coming into that corner. She has tweaked her knee. She was limping around, but she did ride the warm-up, and she said she rode better than she thought she would considering how the knee feels. So, we'll see if Kayla Yakov can bounce back today.
And if you think about it, if she wouldn't have got into Cody, just think about how fast she would have went off the track.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost kind of helped her get slowed down a little bit, not having those brakes.
And looking at it again that last time, looking at the results from yesterday, I don't even know, honestly, even getting with Cody, I don't know how much it slowed her down because she was absolutely hauling. And thank goodness the Road Racing World Action Fund have those air fences where they are. And we've seen a lot of these riders, even that finished up near the top yesterday, they have not been consistent throughout the season, either having problems in Atlanta or problems here, and it's cost them in points. That's why Max Van has that 34-point advantage. Today, several riders look for one, Avery Dreher. I think Avery was fast, really fast. That motor really seemed to be pulling on that straightaway. Getting the right draft could win. Aiden Tao, very racy yesterday.
Yeah, and then you got top 9 guys were all within a second. Leedy Batty's kind of struggled earlier this weekend, and he got himself up in the fight yesterday. And Hayden Bicknees was riding good. There's a lot of new names out there. Chase Black has showed up at the front this week, so it's going to be interesting to see with all these new faces up here with all the other guys that's been running at the front for a while.
Absolutely. Chase Black on that Pure Attitude Racing entry. You see Trevor Standish over there getting a word with him. Teammates in different classes. But again, these guys all looking for that championship, and Max Van is leading it. Like Chase Black, 9th in the championship points. He's already 50 behind after only 3 races to go. Again, you can't have a throwaway, but inevitably there's at least one stop that is a throwaway race. Ivan Rivera, the 83, we were seeing him a moment ago on the AIR Onse Moto Racing team. Let's go back down to Jason Wygant.
Yeah, it's interesting charting the weather today. It has been in and out, like literally from the moment I started talking till now, which is about, 5 seconds? We went from cloud cover to sunshine. So it keeps trying to get to where we were yesterday, where it was extremely hot, but it still hasn't quite gotten there yet. I've got to imagine, especially as we start going through these classes and get to the higher horsepower machines that can create more wheel spin, even though they have electronics, I don't know how big a factor it's going to be for this group. But as the day goes on, these crews are really going to have a tough time figuring out, are we going to have the super slick, super hot conditions of yesterday, or is this cloud cover going to stay? It is literally changing every 5 minutes.
Well, Roger, I think some of it, thank you, Jason. Some of it also, might not have the wheel spin for the rear, but the track is what's getting hot, and even the fronts might feel a little different.
And that's the thing. We've had guys talk about it yesterday and today
already
about how the track feels greasy on the front end. Seen a couple guys go down, and it's just going to get greasier as hot as it gets, and the track temperature is going to continue to rise. And those first couple laps, you have to really feel it out, feel with the track, and then just take what it gives you.
The other thing about what Jason was saying about the weather and the hot and the cold and how it can change in a second, I still want to bring it up because I don't think it's going to happen during this race, but you've seen heat showers pop up. There is rain possibly in the forecast later on today. We could see dry conditions turn to one of them spot showers. Let's hope that doesn't come about. Let's just worry about dry, semi-hot weather here today, as they will be out there for 12 laps in this SportbikeTrackGear.com junior race. There's the machine of Avery Dreher. And you can just tell sometimes, you see somebody that looks racy on a particular weekend. Avery, this looks like his opportunity to kind of put it on the box and try and prove himself and have what it takes to be a front runner here in MotoAmerica.
And yesterday he had to learn so much being in that front battle the whole race.
Yeah.
He's definitely somebody who's aggressive. And last year we would see him at the front, but kind of make some mistakes. And looks like he's got that cleaned up this year.
Yeah, the 99 Avery Dreher finished third, just behind Joe Lamandry Jr., the teammate to Max Van, who took the top spot. Another one that we haven't mentioned yet, the 39 of Yandel Medina, again a newcomer into MotoAmerica out of, I believe it's the Bronx, New York. And Yandel Medina was pretty racy early on as well, kind of get things figured out like we've seen other riders. Roger, might be one to look for. All right, the track here, what started back in 1957. That's back when you first came here. And then I'm just kidding. You were the, but the track really hasn't changed at all.
No, it hasn't, but it's a track that's really fun. You see a lot of action down in the turn one with the draft, and then the rest through there flows pretty good to 2, 3, 4, and it's kind of tight out of 6 and down into 7. And from 7, the track flows all the way to turn 10, and it's really difficult to pass through there if you're behind somebody. And then from turn 10, the track starts going downhill into 12 and 13, which to me is one of the most important corners on this track, especially in this class, to get a good run out of that last corner and get in that draft, see if you can't make a pass before the line.
It seems like we hear it at many tracks. I even think Road Atlanta, the back straightaway, getting that good drive leading on to those back straightaway. And this front straightaway here isn't too straight. We're looking at it live, and they're on it right now. That front straightaway is a straight with a kink.
Yeah, I mean, for these guys, it's actually pretty much a straightaway just because of the way it is. But for the bigger classes, no, it's not really that straight, but they can do some drafting. We see some guys yesterday on this draft going from 5th or 6th to 1st into turn 1.
This is their last lap around the track. Cody Wyman. Did you see him with his hand out? Hey, guys, I might be the oldest guy in this group. I'm going to tell you right now, do not get crazy. It's just a sighting lap. It's just a warm-up lap. I'm here. Don't run into me. And he is kind of the elder statesman in this class too, in the junior class. So he knows what he's talking about. And I just still felt bad for him yesterday, as Kayla Yakov did, and her taking it down. A newcomer to the class. You see the machine, Levi Batty, the 71. Going to be another one to look for. Batty worked his way up to 7th yesterday, and after practice and qualifying, I didn't even know that 7th was in the picture, but he did kind of run it in there towards the end.
Yeah, he had a really good race. He was only within 9/10 of the win.
Really close. Either way, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior, they're working their way back to the starting line. We send it back over to Greg and Jason. Take it away, guys. It's going to be a good one like it always is.
All right, look at the starting grid. Max Van on pole at a 36.960, JP.
Yep, Cody Wyman just behind. Good to see him back out after yesterday. Chase Black, Medina, Bickney's, and the Lamandry Jr. will roll out round 2. Back to 3, Rodeo, Dreher, Kayla Yakov. Looking to see if she's out there from yesterday. Thal, Beatty, Williams is out on row 4. Clark, Marinello, Zeprano, Rivera, Elliott, and Keegan Brown.
Yeah, so as the bikes come on the grid, Jason, we have our timing and scoring, and we can see that Kayla is out there.
Yeah.
Generally, we get an indicator with a green dot on our timing and scoring. Looks like Lamandry, Smoking Joe.
Man. Oh, yeah. It looks like
Bazooka Joe.
Just out of the S's there. And that's a bummer because, you know, he was fired up. We saw his interview yesterday, and he was fired up to try to win today, and that's too bad.
So Bazooka Joe looks like he's got his bike parked, and he's not going to be able to make this race. It's time for race number 2, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. No Joe Lamandry. He didn't make it to the grid. But Kayla Yakov is in the mix, and away we go. The red light's out. All eyes on Max Van, the 48, who led the way yesterday. How about the 39 of Medina?
He's trying to go around the outside. Didn't quite make it, but he's going to slot himself into second, and Max Van finds himself in a familiar spot. Once again, I can see Cody Wyman back there. It looks like in 5th, Gus Rodeo as well. I saw him looking down at his bike before the start, almost like he had a small problem. Cody Wyman's going to slide himself into 4th as Gus Rodeo goes to 3rd. Dreyer out on the yellow stripes. So everybody's trying to get that first lap position to put themselves in the best spot for when they come on this front straightaway. Try to get stay in that lead draft.
The Max Van out of Michigan on that SportbikeTrackGear.com team. Trying to hold off the advances of the rest of the field. Here comes Gus Rodeo, the 96. On that Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK Racing.
Wow, Max Van gets out really wide there at the top of turn 7. Still manages to hold on to that lead though, Greg. Medina looks really good right now on this opening lap. Super comfortable there in 2nd place, as does Gus Rodeo. Gus thinks about going up the inside, try to get that 2nd spot, but thinks better of it.
We're getting close to the point we're going to have a look to see who's worked on their braking, because it was Max Van yesterday into turn number 1 that was able to hold off. Even when there was 5 riders wide, Max Van kept coming out on top. So onto the front straightaway we go for the first time. Race number 2, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and it's Medina who's got a really good drive. Sitting right on the back wheel of Max Van, going side by side, trying to find some clean air. But Van just unflappable on the brakes. See Medina sitting up, not wanting to contest that lead spot for the moment. But Rodeo looking pretty fast around these corners, trying to find something. Is the 96. Will still hold on to 3rd, and then the jostling going on behind him.
Chase Black's made a couple of moves there to get himself into 4th place. You can see him. He got by Wyman. Dreyer making a big shot now at Cody Wyman as well. So look at it, Greg. We're almost 3 wide in the S's over there as Gus Rodeo moves himself into 2nd. Max Van just gets dropped back down to 3rd. At the moment, we've got about a 9 or 10 rider breakaway, it looks like, at the front.
See if Max Van gets impatient, tries to force the issue in 3rd. Rodeo to the front. So another pass for the lead. And just like that, it's the 96 of Rodeo who takes over the spot. I like the body position of Yandel Medina on the Yandel Racing Ninja 400, Jay. Looking at the 39.
Simple.
Really simple. Oh, big mistake.
Yeah, just gets out a little bit wide. But look, this is what I expected from Gus Rodeo this year. When we started thinking about who could be possible championship contenders, I picked this young man at the front only because we've seen him up front. We've seen him win races. He's gotten so much taller. Before he was so in and around the bike. But look at the gap he started to pull out, Greg. This is a big lead for Gus Rodeo. It's the biggest lead we've seen all weekend in this class.
Yeah, because Medina had that problem at the top of the hill, like kind of locked up the rear wheel and really held the rest of the field up. Now we're going to see what kind of speed Max Van has. Left part of your screen, pass for the lead. Bottom part of your screen, and positions are changing.
Yeah,
so nice, simple pass.
Almost 11 people in this lead group right now.
And the fastest one on track is Levy Batty in 9th place. A 1:37.550. Fastest lap of the race so far. So it looked for the moment that Gus Rodeo might have a bit of an advantage, but when these riders work together, Jay, there's not much of a gap in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
Nope, you're exactly right. And it's not unlike it to see the fastest lap of the race come from that person that's 7th, 8th, 9th back. So But this guy, Max Van, always seems to be able to find himself back at the front where he is now. And we got Gus Rodeo Medina there, Cody Wyman, and Dreyer, top 5. And that just changes all the time for us. When we're sitting here in the booth and we're watching our screens and we're watching the racing on track, and you can see Gus Rodeo is going to have a look down the inside to get to turn 10. It gets really tight in this little area. And you know, this morning, Greg, during warm-up, for most of our classes, it was kind of overcast, a lot cooler, and now we've lost all that cloud cover, and the heat in this track is definitely going to be coming back up throughout the course of this day.
On to the straightaway we go. Max Van was leading the way. Gus Rodeo in the tuck. Jay talks about how much he's grown, how much taller he is. You can kind of see it when they're in the bubble. Rodeo going for the lead, but this is where Max Van's been strong. But all of a sudden, here come some shots. Up the inside, they go 5 wide. Rodeo will take over the lead for the moment. Trying to go up the inside is Dreyer.
Rodeo's just letting that bike roll all the way through there. You saw him almost out of our screen, letting that bike run as wide as he can to try to carry that roll speed, corner speed as much as he can through there. But look at, and there's Kayla. So Kayla, we haven't really had a shout out to her yet, but right back underneath there, Chase Black kind of stuffs her back in between 5 and 5A there, so gets back past her. But just nice to see Kayla back out after we saw her under the air fence yesterday. And she's going to try to make her way forward.
Gus Rodeo, number 96. Max Van, number 48. 39 is Yandel Medina. 99 is Avery Dreyer. And then you have Wyman, Cody Wyman, after getting together with Yakov yesterday, back in the mix. And then you have Kayla Yakov. Let's go down to Hannah, who has Lamandry Jr.
And Greg, at the start of the race, we saw Joe Lamandry Jr. pull off to the side. Tell us a little bit what was happening out there and why you were unable to continue on in the race.
So unfortunately, the chain broke on the warm-up lap, which is mechanical. That's just the problems of racing. You never know what could happen. Just stupid stuff like that could take you out of the race. But this is gonna really suck because I had a DNF in round 1, race 2. Someone crashed in front of me and I got collected. So right now I'm sitting at only second. So I'm only sitting at 20 points from this weekend. But we're gonna regroup, figure it out, and come back stronger for Road America.
Thanks, Joe. Guys.
All right, Joe will be back. And while that happened, there were 4 lead changes just in that exchange when we were talking to Joe Lamandry Jr. And Jay, just for the moment, it was Dreyer who took the lead and got bounced off in turn number 1, and they've gone back and forth, but it's settled out. So far, Jason, in this race with 7.5 laps to go, we've had 9 lead changes in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and right now it's Max Van again at the point.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that Dreyer was leading and he just got into turn 1 a little bit wide and got pushed out, so moves him back. But he was on the podium yesterday, and now once you taste that, you want more of it, G-Dub. So if you're in that top 7, if you're in this lead group right now, you're still well in this race. We still have 8 laps to go, 7.5 laps to go now as Rodeo goes up underneath Max Van in turn number 10 there. And look who's there in third now, Greg. Cody Wyman. No points yesterday for him either. He was involved in that little altercation with Kayla down there in turn 7, and he's found himself back up at the front here. Got himself in that 3rd spot. And if you remember in Atlanta, he kind of controlled things, did Cody, when he won that race in Atlanta. He always kind of found himself not getting shuffled back any further than 3rd. And that's pretty reminiscent of what Max Van has done this whole weekend. And here comes Kayla and Medina there. You can see them drafting up in 4th and 5th. Kayla's on the very inside now.
Yakov battling for position. Had 3rd for a moment. Is in 4th. And that's Wyman on the 34. So position starting to change as that front straightaway gives us tons of passing opportunities with the draft in these smaller displacement motorcycles. Rodeo going for it again. There goes Gus Rodeo. Rodeo Racing, Warhorse HSBK Racing, and down.
Dreyer?
Dreyer goes down, as well as Levy Batty again for Batty. He hits the deck on the 71. So those riders out of contention in this one, and Yakov goes to the front. So all of a sudden, biding her time, Kayla Yakov, the 31 on that Altus Motorsports Racing Ninja 400, takes over the lead. Cody Wyman in second spot. 39 is Medina. Where's Max Van in fourth?
Yeah, he's got back to fifth there, G-Dub, right now. So, you know, we didn't get to exactly see what happened in that mess, but hopefully everybody gets up and okay. But how about Kayla getting herself up off the deck from yesterday? I saw her out in warm-up this morning, and we're going to go back here and have a look. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Dreyer gets just sideways and high-sides himself right in front of Levy Batty. Look at Levy Batty try to save that rear wheel off the ground, but that's a big high side. And you can see on the left part of your screen there, look at that, Greg lands right on his tailbone, then gets ran over. So let's hope that Dreyer is okay after that big high side.
Right part of your screen, another passing for the lead as Yakov got gobbled up in turn number 1, but was able to use her great braking technique to stay in second spot as Max Van went from 5th to 1st. And as those 8 riders go by,
wow,
unbelievable.
It's nice to be young. Just bounce right back up on that. Dreyer back up there, trying to get his bike started, and you can see now got this big battle at the front. Max Van finds himself. Look at Kayla. That's racecraft there, Greg. She's not going to let guys go up the inside of her into turn 7. If you're going to go past her, you go around the outside of her. But she keeps her track position really nice. She's right up behind Max Van again now.
It's so interesting because Max Van gets such great drives out of that final 17A section on this racetrack that he doesn't lose so much ground that he can't fight back with brakes once you get to turn number 1. It's been the same story as yesterday, but a lot of people making great work overnight. 6 laps remain in this one as we head to the checkered flag. There's going to be 5 to go. Leading the way is Max Van. Pitboard out for Kayla Yakov, letting her know what position she's in, also letting her know that she's in the middle of a heated battle. And to the front goes Wyman. So it looks like Wyman takes a spot, but no, here comes Yakov.
She just lets off the lever and just gets in there so much harder than those guys. And now she's letting that bike run through turn 1. Off to turn 3 now we'll head. And Cody Wyman has managed to get past Max Van as well.
Yakov trying to pull the pin on this one and get away. So it's Wyman in second spot. Another rider going really wide out of your frame. Gathers it back up. So Yakov, after a rough day yesterday, Hannah is sitting pretty at the front of this race.
She is, Greg, and when I talked to her about yesterday and how she's feeling after that crash, she said just a little banged up, her knee's a bit sore, but it's manageable. She had to kind of adjust how she's riding, but she was really surprised at her pace this morning. She said for this afternoon's race, she was hoping to have a battle up front. I don't think she was expecting to be in the lead. She's really just looking at maximizing points and the bigger picture here, but she very well could walk away with the top step of that podium. There's still 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and there was an early couple laps, Jay. I think that she looked like she was just kind of pacing herself.
Yeah,
31.
Getting herself back into the groove of things here. The guy that got to beat, though, Greg, don't forget, we started this show off by talking about the lead that Max Van has over everyone else. So he's really the guy that we've got to start beating him to try to get some of those points back. You heard Lamandry Jr. talk about losing some points today through no fault of his own. Obviously, mechanicals happen, but somebody has to try to put a stop to the point lead getting any bigger. Kayla with a big draft behind both Wyman and Max Van. She positions herself down the inside of these guys, and she's going to go through again to the lead. And look at Gus Rodeo.
Trying to find some room around the outside is Rodeo.
On the outside.
But now things are getting a little scrappy for second spot. They've got to settle down because you don't want Yakov to sail off into the sunset. That lead you're talking about in the championship for Max Van, an incredible 34 points over Wyman so early in the season, something we don't normally see in any class, let alone SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
Yep, and Aiden Thal is that other rider that's in that group of 5 now. So Aiden Thal, after a good run yesterday, put himself in this top 5 with a shot at winning. This 5 have all gotten away now from 6th place. You can see Chase Black back there a little bit further. And I didn't see Medina in that.
I didn't see Medina either. I was thinking the same thing. No,
right.
No, that basically that white, that blank body work. We don't see Medina anywhere in the shot. So Medina looked like they went off the track and came back. So it's going to be your 48 Max Van. SportbikeTrackGear.com team with Kayla Yakov on the Altus Motorsports entry. Right behind, 34 is Cody Wyman. Wyman on the Alpha Omega bike.
Chase Black just went through that screen. So yeah, you can lead 5. They're getting ready to come out onto that front straightaway. And now, Greg, if you're in that 5th spot where Gus Rodeo is, he's going to have 4 wide in front of him right now. Look for the red bike to see if he can slingshot anywhere near, but he's just got nowhere to go. You can see Gus Rodeo there on the 94s. Cody Wyman this time will lead them and outbrake himself a little bit into turn 1 and run wide. Now that's going to be pretty hard for Cody. I mean, Greg, it was only about 5 laps ago. We had 9 riders up in that lead group, and we're really down to 4 now. It'll be interesting to see if Cody can make that time back up. It's going to be difficult, although he's not out of reach completely. So yeah, Cody should be able to get back on the back of them, no problem.
Yeah, we'll see. There goes Cody Wyman.
These 4 will be racing it up too, so I think Cody will be able to.
And that's part of what we do see, isn't it, Jay? When you're racing it up like that, passing and repassing, you're slowing the pace down a little bit. It helps to keep those larger packs in play. But I just keep looking at Max Van and the racecraft right now, and it's just the ability to, especially on that straightaway, so late down that straightaway, to be able to stay off that brake lever. It's almost like there's a great RPM surge right towards the end of that straightaway. And Max Van just...
Look at Kayla. She's got a lot of speed through there. But he has the ability to keep making his way back to the front, doesn't he? To your point about Max Van, he just gets himself back up there. Cody's on the back of him again, which is perfect to see. He should get a nice slingshot down the straightaway. We're going to have 2 laps to go when they come by now. So right now is the time when you're really starting to test things. And, you know, Greg, we hear bikes on rev limiters all the time. This is where gearing becomes such a crucial key to things. You know, a lot of these bikes, you got to gear them maybe a tooth taller than you'd even think, because if you're in that slingshot 4, 5, 6 deep behind these guys, you got to be able to slingshot past.
So Yakov goes to the lead for a moment. Now up the inside comes Aiden Thau. Can't get it done. So there goes Gus Rodeo. What is interesting is
Aiden Thau gets stood up out of the seat.
Last time by, Kayla Yakov had enough in the tank to draft by Max Van by the line and beat Max Van to the line by 4 thousandths of a second. So that could be a strategy for Yakov. She's not going to know if she actually hit the line before he did with 4 thousandths of a second. But that was definitely a test to see if Yakov can draft and pass to the line. But unless everybody gets Gus Rodeo right now, it's all going to be for naught, as we have about a lap and a half to go in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. So Gus Rodeo, who led early, takes the point. By the way, Jason, when Gus Rodeo took the lead, that was our 21st lead change of this race.
You're keeping track, aren't you?
I am this one, because
I know you do that.
It's a barn burner.
But Gus does a really nice job in that first sector, and then they're just able to reel him back in from that straightaway from 5B down to turn 7. And again, he's nice and fast up through here. I like where both Kayla and Cody are. Question is, Greg, are you patient enough to put yourself 4th or 5th coming out of that corner on the last lap? The thing is you might not have anywhere to go because the track's going to be full of people in front of you. So this is a big test run. Look at Max Van. And Aiden's going with him. Aiden's strapped right behind Max. So Aiden's going to get close to the lead here. But it would have been Max Van that time with Thau and Rodeo. But look, Kayla's going to put herself down the inside of everybody again and try out braking. Let's see if she gets by Rodeo. Aiden Thau's going to slot himself into 2nd. Cody Wyman in 5th. Looks like he's trying to go up underneath Rodeo right now. I think he's going to make that pass.
He does.
So the 34 gets himself into...
Oh, and there he goes. He's going to try to make a bid for 3rd spot. That's going to foil Kayla Yakov's plans for the moment. I think she wants to be in 2nd or 3rd coming onto the front straightaway to give herself a chance to win this one, but she shuffled back to 5th. So it's all about Max Van right now. I think he's got a lot of confidence to lead out of the final corner. So Van with his head down and a gap all of a sudden, just like that.
Cody Wyman's trying to get by Thau as they head down to turn 7. Thau does a nice job of holding that spot, but it looks like Cody gets up underneath him. But all the while this is going on, it's allowing Max Van to disappear at the front. You can see Cody gets out wide. He's going to have to do something special now, Greg. It's probably up to half a second for Max Van putting his head down at the front of the field. This is where that... Oh, he's out wide though, Greg. He's really out wide, and that's going to allow everybody starting to get closer, including Wyman. Gus Rodeo now trying to go up the outside of Thao as well.
So Max Van with a couple miscues on this last lap has allowed everyone to close the gap. No rearview mirrors. He didn't know that was going on, but all of a sudden he's looking pretty vulnerable. Here we come down the hill. Oh, and it looks like Aiden Thao up and out of the saddle is going to blow that drive. So it's now Max Van's show. It's up to Cody Wyman in the draft. Can he do it? He's going to pull out of the draft. It doesn't look like he's got enough steam as they head to the flag. Wyman around the outside. Does he have it? As they come across the stripe, it's going to be Max Van again by 31 thousandths of a second over Wyman. Thao, Rodeo, Kayla Yakov with Chase Black in 6th.
Wow. I'm glad you had to call that, because I'll tell you, that was a mess coming across the line. And I really did think the same as you. I thought with Aiden getting such a bad run out of that last corner, he wouldn't be able to hold on to third, but he was able to still feel the draft of the two in front of him to drag him along to that third place spot.
And another extension of his championship points lead this early in the season. Max Van holds off the charges. Jason.
Yeah, you can see there he just gets shot up out of the seat a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe Kayla's going to come from 5th and get that 3rd place spot, but he does a nice job. You can see there, Greg gets back tucked in. Cody Wyman trying to get the run.
I think Cody thought he might have had it.
Maybe he thought he won it, yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see it's Max Van just barely.
That's all we need to see. That's what 31 thousandths of a second looks like. Aiden Thao 1/10 behind. Gus Rodeo 0.15 and Kayla Yakov. So from 1st to 5th, Jason, less than 2/10 of a second. Here's the race pace. In this particular race, you know, Jay, it's really just about survival and track positioning, and tip of the cap to Max Van. Just the confidence to lead out of the final corner after getting drafted and passed to the line a couple of times during the race. When we come back, we're going to talk to Max Van and find out how his race went and how he was able to win his 3rd in a row.
He's Roger Hayden. I'm Robbie Floyd. Our little time to talk about what we just saw. And Roger, we saw a couple of times, a couple of riders wanting to give this race away for their respective positions. Max had actually checked out and he was gone. And you just saw him. He's like, oh, he is way wide. He almost let her go there at the end.
Yeah, he did what he had to do, though. You know, like he did yesterday. When you're leading out of turn 1, you got to try to check out. And he definitely had at least about a half a second gap. But going through turn 13, he got really wide through there, 10, 11, 12. And let the group catch up. But he also, you know, when he was still in the lead, so he put that last sector together and got a really good run out of that last corner. And Cody Wyman had a good run. And it looks like he was going to kind of get past him, but then he kind of stalled out a little bit.
And also had to make that longer run around the outside, a little more distance he had to carry. And when that draft advantage runs out, now you're basically doing the same thing that the guy that's in the lead, and Joe Lamandry there. Giving props. Joe was in 2nd place in the championship, tied with Cody Wyman, and now it's going to be Wyman solo 2nd in the championship. Good run by him, though. Nice run by Cody Wyman, the Alpha Omega Kawasaki. Max Van, again, dedicating himself this year, working out, losing weight, and mental focus. Kind of throwing it down the road in practice and warm up this morning, coming back from that. Kudos to the crew for getting it back together. Here's the end once again, and right here, Aiden Thao, that he almost let go of 3rd.
Yeah, and if that didn't happen to Aiden, he might have had himself in a perfect spot, because look how close he still got to the win from that mistake. And see here, Cody's gaining. And then at this point, he kind of stalls out. Now he's on the outside, and Max regains the lead.
You're exactly right, and especially that double wall. Look in front. Watch that 55 to the left and look over to the side. If Aiden wouldn't have got bucked out of the seat a little bit, I think you're right. I think Aiden Thao might have had his first victory.
Is that his first podium?
Hey, no, yesterday. No, Avery was yesterday. Yeah, I think it is Aiden Tao's first victory. It was Avery's yesterday, and it'll be Aiden Tao's today. Yeah. Correct. I knew we had 2 first-timers. All right, you can zip up those leathers. Man, look at that youthful spirit. Not even winded at all, but another win for Max Van. He got the MotoAmerica Turkey 3 in a row.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
My tally has 23 lead changes in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and here's the way the last one was. Max Van with a 31,000-second victory over Cody Wyman, Aiden Thau, Gus Rodeo, and Kayla Yakov. And then Chase Black, he ended up having a bit of a lonely race. Let's get right down to Hannah with our winner.
3 in a row this season for Max Van. He is having a bit of a breakout season, if you will. A lot of shuffling around at the front, like you said, Greg. He said there's 23 changes for the lead. But what gave you the confidence to lead out of that last corner to the finish?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody that's bought something from SportbikeTrackGear.com throughout the past 16 years of us being open. That's why I'm out here living my dream. But honestly, this morning, I didn't even make a lap in warm-up before I got tangled up with another rider. So I knew I wanted some sort of redemption. I want to come out here and win. And even in the interview earlier, I told you guys I was going to be on top of the box. And guess where I am today? I'm here. So, well, second of all, I just want to give a shout-out to one of my friends and his family. His mom passed away recently again, like I said. So this whole weekend's dedicated to them. And, I'm real happy about today, and I can't wait for MotoAmerica.
Congrats, Max Van.
Well, for Max Van, everybody in the field threw a shot at him, Jay, and he answered with another victory.
Absolutely. And, when you have that confidence, you have a confidence in your machinery, too, to be able to lead out of that last corner and win again. Let's get back down to Hannah.
Cody Wyman back on the box today after a bit of an incident yesterday, mixing things up there. You had to catch up at the end. Where were you able to find some time to nearly capture the victory today?
Yeah, it was a close one. I saw Max get out of the seat. I almost would have liked if he didn't, so it could have a little gap for the draft. But great, hats off to him. Big thanks to Alpha Omega, Helmet House, Cortex, Shoei Helmets, K-Tech, Motivation USA, SC Project, Champ School, Madden Painting, everyone who's got me here. It's a bummer to lose by a wheel, but to be in the dirt yesterday, it's good to get some points.
Congratulations, today's second place finisher.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Cody needs to be so hard on himself. Jason, he lost by half a wheel.
Yeah, he did, and he was there for the fight today. And like you said, he had a little bit of bad luck yesterday. So to see Cody back up there on the podium, and he'll put his foot forward and be ready for MotoAmerica.
All right, let's get right back down to Hannah.
Second podium of the season for Aiden Thau. What is contributing to your success this season?
I felt pretty good. Yesterday we ran up front, and that gave me a lot of confidence to run up top with the guys, and that gave me a lot of confidence to run that pace with them. Yesterday I was really wishing for a podium finish. We were right there, so I tried to play that same drafting game, kept myself behind third, fourth, fifth, try to get that draft to the front straight. But unfortunately I just ran out of gearing, started hitting the rev limiter. So props to Max Van and Cody Wyman for putting on such a great race. I'd like to thank all my sponsors: Kaishan Racing, Rise, Fresno Center, Two Wheels Track Day, PA. The list goes on and on. So thank you guys, thank you to my team, and thank you to my parents for putting me up here.
Congratulations to all of our STG Junior Cup podium finishers, guys.
What a great race it was for race number 2. And Jason, it's tough to see when you see efforts like Gus Rodeo leading, Kayla Yakov. I mean, someone's got to finish off the podium, but incredible to have these 5 riders. And it just feels like there's more people that are going to end up towards the front of this thing as the year continues to roll on.
I think we'll see a lot of new winners. This guy right now, though, Max Van, is the class of the field as far as those win streaks he's putting together at the moment. So, but you're right, Greg. Everybody in this class wants to be on the podium, and when you get 9 people at the front, it gets a little frantic. And what were we down to 5 at the end? So that's what can happen in this class.
Championship point standing so far this season, there's been 100 points on offer, and Max Van has grabbed 95 of them. Cody Wyman 39 back, Aiden Thau in 3rd spot. You can see 46 to 47 to 55. So it looks like it's a pretty big gap, and it is this part of the season, but we still have a ton of racing left to go, including in a couple of weeks, we'll be at MotoAmerica. So great race action, 23 lead changes in SportbikeTrackGear.com. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg White. We'll see you again soon.